I wanted to ask you guys. So overrated, underrated, perfectly rated is how it goes. You give us a topic, we decide if they're overrated, underrated, or on the off chance maybe perfectly rated. Reversible jackets, overrated, underrated, or perfectly rated?
If they're high quality,
Yeah.
I would say underrated.
Yeah, if the quality is good, underrated. If quality is bad, I mean,
And what's the point?
What's the point? It doesn't matter. Yeah.
I recently got a reversible jacket.
Is it
And
high
it's two
quality?
very different looks. Like one side is like a down jacket, the other side kind of looks like a bomber jacket.
Oh, okay.
And it's from a good brand, so no, it's not low quality. And I feel like a new man. Feels
Oh,
great.
wow.
It's like, wow, this outfit looks totally different now that I've reversed the jacket.
So you feel like Clark Kent? You'll go into a phone booth and just switch it out and come back a new man,
Yes.
ready to
do.
save the world.
I feel like when you get reversible things, though, you fall into like you're just like one side better, right? So
Right.
you never reverse it anyway.
Yes, that's not a bad point. Yeah,
So-
if you can reverse something, how much do you like the other side?
Yesterday I wore it one way. Today I wore it the other way.
Oh, you
So,
wore it today.
Yeah.
Gonna have to get a look at this.
All over the place.
Wow,
I'm loving my new reversible jacket.
good for you.
It's
I'm proud of you.
underrated. I feel like it's I used to say that reversible jackets are not great for this reason. Like you never wear the other side.
Reach found something. You found two
But-
jackets in one.
Now I'm a changed man. I got two jackets for the price of one.
Congratulations.
Good for you.
I'm gonna move on to these submissions now.
There is one I want you to read later. It's from Andre. It's about Nespresso machines. Just keep that. Keep that.
Okay.
You
In
know,
the back pocket.
Back pocket. For
All right.
later. Yeah.
This one from Hassan. The narrative that Pettersson cannot perform in big games. Overrated or underrated?
It is. You might be surprised at my answer on this. Overrated. Elias Pettersson can't perform in big games. Here's the unfortunate part of it. Actual big games that Elias Pettersson has played in, not very many. Because what do I consider a big game? Playoff games. And Elias Pettersson hasn't had many of those. Now, you want to go back to his playoff performances? He had 3 goals, 2 assists against the Vegas Golden Knights, and outside of Thatcher Demko was essentially the only player that Vegas really had much to worry about during that series. Against the St. Louis Blues, a series the Canucks won, by the way, he had 4 multi-goal games in the 6 games of that series. So, like, what are we talking about when it comes to big games? Tuesday night in Colorado, like, yeah, it's a big game for a regular season, but playoff games ultimately are what decide what a big game is, and we just don't have enough of a sample size on Elias Pettersson yet.
And we have the sample. I mean, we do have a sample. The question is how much weight you put into the sample of him
Right.
playing that postseason. And
He
some
was
will
great.
say he was great. Like he was. Now, some people will say because no fans in the building, stakes were different. It doesn't really count. And if that's your take, then it doesn't matter. So yes, let's see what happens in the postseason. That's going to give you the answers I think you're looking for.
So, yes, underrated.
Next one comes from Lawai. The Canucks' winning percentage against the top teams in the NHL. Overrated or underrated?
Actually, underrated. Because they've actually done decently against
Yes.
the top teams.
You would think the Canucks have have 1 win in 12 games against the top teams in the league the way some of the narrative has gone.
I think they're 10, 7, and 2 or something like that
Yeah.
against the top teams. Now, if you 10, 6, and 2, if you want to, you can take out the 3 against Edmonton.
Because they were bad.
They're bad early. You're still 7, 6, and 2. You're still
Yeah.
over 500 against the top teams.
Yeah. They got
Not
2
to s-
wins against Florida, too. So
Yeah, and I think
now we've taken away 5 wins from the Canucks against top 10 teams.
I think Colorado and Vegas. I think Vegas has a good record against them. I think Colorado is just around 500, or maybe just above. And I think Winnipeg is pretty close to 500 too against the top 10 teams. So it kind of fluctuates.
Yeah.
But yes, I mean I think their record against the top 10 teams is overrated, underrated.
You have a top record in the league. Your record is going to be good pretty much against everybody. I just don't know how else to frame that. It is underrated. And one thing I think that people maybe overlook is like when you are a good team, what do good teams do? They beat the opponents they're supposed to beat.
Yeah.
The Canucks have been great at that all season long. And you shouldn't dock points from them because they've won the games they're supposed to win. Generally, they do have a loss to the San Jose Sharks, we do remember. But generally, they've won the games that they're supposed to. And if you can have a slightly above 500 or right around 500 record against other top teams in the league, that's going to help you be a great team and go to the playoffs. Now, like, what did we learn from games against Colorado and Winnipeg? For me, I think about it, if you want to look at it in a playoff type of picture, I look at last night's game. I look at Saturday's game against Winnipeg. Yes, both losses for the Vancouver Canucks. But if you were to play that over a best-of-7 series, like, we're talking about a series that's probably going 7 games, and it's a toss-up as to who's going to win, because that's how close both of those games were. And generally, when you go up against other top teams in the league, that's the way it's going to play out, because there's just not much to separate these two teams.